Mental Health Monday.
Mental Health Monday.
When it comes to suicidal ideations, especially someone like you that's actually reached out to me back in the day, I want people to see, hey, there's another side to what happens after I get what is considered better. What happens to me when I move on with life? What is the feeling of that? What's the work on the other side of, okay, the emergency is no longer here? Because like a lot of folks are like, and this is a mistake I don't want folks to repeat, a lot of people think the person has a suicidal ideation. Sometimes it could bloom into actual actions. And I think that's really important to understand that, like, suicidal ideation means I'm struggling with the thoughts of suicide, but I'm not really trying to commit. But man, these thoughts are, the voices are getting louder, right? All right, so when the voices are no longer loud, what does life for that person look like? What do relationships look like? Because right now I've been telling a lot of folks, especially people that have either been tuning into what I'm doing on this side or come into the speaking engagements, we have a responsibility to sit down with the people that are going through the thing, whether it's anxiety, depression, ADHD, and how negative that can be in suicidal ideations, and ask, how would you like to be spoken to? How would you like to be handled when an emergency happens? What do we need to keep in mind when it comes to you, when it comes to spiraling? Because like everyone thinks I'm making the right decision, and it's like there's the education on what you need to do from the person that comes from like a therapist or hospitals, which hospitals give out terrible info, but we'll have that talk for another day, right? But you should keep in mind that you do need to ask the person who's going through the thing, hey, when this happens, how would you like us to approach you? What would you like us to keep in mind? And I don't see anybody making space for that conversation. Like, it's very much go to therapy, it's very much wellness, it's very much, well, in emergencies, call 911. But outside of these three things that people are naming, the most amount of time spent is going to be when the emergency is not happening in life. Like when you go to therapy, if you go to therapy, let's say 4 times a week, you're talking about 4 hours out of 30 days. If you go to therapy twice a month, you're talking about 2 hours out of 30, maybe 31 days. That means you're going to have 31 days of 24 hours that are left, and 2 days that are 23 hours where the person has to spend time with themselves, the person has to have a better environment to heal or to progress, and the person needs to have the right people who understand what they may need. And I'm like, where's the conversation about that, guys? Like, oh, flowers, sunlight, blah, blah, blah. Yes, that is true. But like, right now, a lot of folks are realizing, oh, the people are the environment, not just the room. A lot of folks are realizing, all right, so if financially the person can't be taken care of and they can't afford therapy, what does that lifestyle maybe look like if we try to keep it positive? And I'm like, all right, this is a start, but I don't hear no more conversations. And I'm like, nah, I'm just going to have the convo. I'm not going to wait for people to do it correctly. I'll do it myself. Yeah.
Nice. I'm excited to have that conversation because I have a lot to say. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and then you know, just be as honest as you'd like to be, either about your situation or what you've noticed across the spectrum of people that are dealing with similar situations. Because like, suicidal ideation is one thing, but there's like every one situation, there's a common factor. Like, did you watch that movie Smile?
Yeah, I did.
I was so pissed. I watched it last night. I was pissed the entire movie because I was like, the main character, the issue I had with the main character was her inability to admit to people when shit was going south. I was pissed off at how much she was, I can fix this by myself, never having the proper tools or the state of mind. I was pissed at her calling out her fiance, who's the only black guy in the whole movie, because most of the movie was dominated by white people, right? And she was like, how could you betray me? And it's like, this man asked you if you were okay 7 to 8 times in the whole movie. And it became betrayal when he did the right thing. And I was just like, I'm not going to watch this movie that's painting this white woman as a heroine that's doing all the bad things. No, she not only was she doing everything wrong, it was going downhill more and more. And then when she turned to her ex-boyfriend, who's the dude that was most useful to her, I was like, black boy, if you don't get the fuck out this movie and run away.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And usually I'm not that kind of person, but for that, I don't like when movies paint characters as this person that's trying their best. And it's like, I had zero likability for that woman's character for the whole movie.
I almost wonder if that was the point, because she did fail, like at the end. Like she did suffer.
Like, is that what it looks like when you don't ask for help? Like, remember, she was really piecing things together. And even when she was piecing things together, she never let the people the person who was a cop, the person who actually was in the medical field, because she had a terrible boss. Her boss sucked. Her boss didn't do anything until he saw the knife on the passenger side seat. And they were working her for 80 hours a week. He said, you've been working 80 hours a week for months. And I was like, wait, so the 80 hour for week, her working 80 hours a week for months wasn't the issue, but now that a patient has died in front of her and she may lose a worker, now she should take a week off? I was like, no, there's a big issue here. But that's a reality for a lot of people in the medical field. That's a reality for a lot of people when it comes to medicine and stuff. And I'm just like, this movie might be getting it right.
Yeah.